Ready? I'd like to call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First action is approval of the agenda. A couple things need to be added. There's a request from Perry County Port Authority to provide a letter of support for some rail grants, and I'm just going to add that underneath 5. We'll make it behind Baker Tilly contract as item F. And at the end of the meeting this evening, I want to add below 6 an update on the animal shelter, phones, and LED lighting conversion, just to keep the public up to date on what we're doing. And that will be item E. Anything else?
Highway.
Okay. Now we need to add that in. Let's see, where's he at? He has nothing else on here, does he? Let's put it under G. We have a request to approve, it's a rental rate for equipment for the highway department. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Rebecca?
No.
With that said, I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Public comments. This time, we entertain anybody's comments. Seeing none, we'll move on. The next item's number 4, minutes from 1/23/23. We need to table that till
Table
the
it.
next meeting.
I forgot to attach them to these.
So we'll move on. Item 5A, approval of the payroll, 1/30/23. Everyone's had a chance to take a look at that. Is there any questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion we approve the payroll.
Approved. Aye.
Second by Rebecca. All those in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Approval of the benefits, 5B. I'll make a motion to approve the benefits.
I'll second it.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. 2-0. Approval of the claims, 2/6/23. Any questions on any of that? I think I had mine answered this morning. Anything?
I'll make a motion.
I've got a motion to approve. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. 2-0. Wellness program agreement with Perry County Hospital.
Okay. I sent you guys a copy of the agreement that we have with Perry County. This is an ongoing thing we do with our insurance. There's benefits for our staff and their spouses if they participate in these wellness programs to get deductions, get credits, I guess you should say, on their deductible. So we work with Perry County Memorial Hospital, and they conduct the wellness assessment. They come here to the courthouse, over to the jail, and also out at the highway department. So we've got those days all scheduled. So that is the agreement and the listing of the days that they will be there. It's a great benefit for our employees to take advantage of.
I think it's a good thing.
Chris, on most of these, like the wellness programs, they don't have to pay anything up front deductibles, right? Because most insurances with the wellness programs
if they get points based on things that they participate in. This is we had the initial meeting last month where they got a point for coming to that meeting and kind of where they introduced all the opportunities that they have. We just started the Heart Healthy Bingo. They'll get points for that, for participating. Then this wellness assessment where they'll basically assess, and then from there they'll have like their needs of improvement or areas of improvement. Then there's additional coaching and things that they can take to get points. And if they do that and their spouse is able to do this also, they can get up to $500 credit on their deductible.
That's good.
So, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept that from the hospital.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. One thing I'm gonna suspend it right here, I failed to announce. Andrew Foster, our county attorney, he's kind of quiet down there. He's representing the county this year, and we want to welcome him to the meeting.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Like you said, my name's Andrew Foster. I'm an attorney out in Rockport, Spencer County. Been there for about 10 years now. Actually, it'll be 10 years this year. I represent different government bodies out there. I'm the Spencer County Council attorney. Represent the town of Chrisney, the Spencer County Health Board. So I've been out here a lot as well. I do pauper work out here in Perry County, so I've done a lot of criminal and chins work. So I'm out here about at least once a week doing some court hearings. So it's good to be on board, good to meet everybody, and looking forward to a good year.
Thank you. Next item is the Baker Tilly contract.
Okay. I had reached out to different auditors in the state of Indiana in regards to the annual financial report that needs to be completed by the end of this month. It's a very in-depth report. A lot of them lean on consultants, and with Baker Tilly being a consultant that we use, I started on the 19th of January on this report. With our conversion from Harris to Lau, we've got a lot of crossover errors. It took me till last Friday to get all of those errors fixed. There's 108 reports that have to be uploaded and gone through. I'm hoping that that error will trickle down because that was just the errors on the first report. So I met with the council on Friday because we already have a contract and agreements with Baker Tilly, and when I had spoke with them, they were going to be sending me a quote for them to assist with the annual financial report, and they actually sent another contract. So that's why the council approved, per your guys' approval of the contract, for the funding of the $6,500 to assist with the financial report. I know that a lot of counties use these people year in and year out. I would really like to just use this as a one-year thing. I feel that once we get through these conversion, and I basically dip my toes into this report and plan to take really good notes and make sure we're in a good place with this report. This would just be a one-time thing. But since it is a contract, it has to come to you guys as well. In the contract, they also listed other things that they could assist with as far as the budget. I know they help the redevelopment committee on different things too. But right now, we're just looking at the annual financial report to get that done.
And is that a $6,500 fixed, or is it an hourly rate?
It is a maximum of $6,500. I've already done a lot, so they've already explained that it's already going to be less than the $6,500. It's basically just how.
Remember, but I know it's a federal.
Yep. It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago when he sent it out. So, no problem. I'll make a motion to authorize the signing of that letter in support of the Port Authority on their rail
I'll second.
improvements. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Steve, Perry County Highway rental rates for '23. this part of the wellness program, we're gonna make you walk up here to do this, so you get an extra bonus point.
All right. This is something we do every year. It's just updating our equipment rental rates. We get money out of Cume Bridge back into highway for bridge work that we do, and we use these rates for that. As a Forest Service or any other person, corporation or anything hires us, we use these rates for that. We just get them approved once a year.
And where did you say you rent these from, Steve?
It's equipment we have.
Oh, it's equipment you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't want you in the habit of renting your stuff out this
No.
cheap. So.
No, and some of these ain't.
You wear it out, I
should
don't think
be.
we can replace it.
Yeah.
So. I have no problem with it. I'll make a motion to approve the rates.
And I'll second it.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Next item we have is the edit plan modification. I'm going to take you back through this whole process. In September of 2022, the council passed, I guess, an ordinance to pay off the jail. They had extra money available to do that. They saved probably the county $1 million in interest payments by that act. When they did this, that was 50 cents out of the 181 county rate. They then decided to allocate a nickel to the repair and maintenance of county facilities. Right now, we have no funds. If we needed to put a roof on this building, the jail, or any one of our properties, there's no money set aside for that. So they decided to take, at this time when they're lowering the tax, and it's the only county in the state of Indiana that lowered their tax, they decided to put a nickel additional on for building maintenance and 4 cents on for public safety in order to support the PSAP commitments that earlier councils had made. So what this did then, it cut us back to a rate of 1.4, which would be $1.40 or 1.4%. And it is Cume cap 0.528, public safety is 0.3220, and edit funds are 0.5500. Our old edit plan had it allocated to pay the jail payments, nothing for building maintenance and nothing for the additional PSAP money. So what, in October, we should have put an amendment together and changed that. It failed to happen. Under the current plan, there will be no money allocated for either of these other two areas that they chose to fund. So now we're required to come in and make an addendum to that edit plan reflecting the new numbers and the new percentages. David did most of the work on this. I fine-tuned his spreadsheet just a little bit, and we have it broke down in percentages. 50 cents is actually what we're going to split. 25 cents of that will go to the highway, 10 cents will go to economic development, 15 cents goes to the jail and security, of which that's broken into two categories. We need to rewrite the edit plan to reflect these two numbers, the changes in the numbers. So in order to not confuse people, there was some action. I can't find a document that was executed that uses the old edit plan, but just so we don't have any ambiguity between what's going on, I'm going to ask that we rescind anything that was relevant to the original plan and then rewrite it consistent with the new plan and the new amounts, so that we don't have a misinterpretation as to how everything is funded. Any questions so far? If not, I'm going to make a motion that we rescind anything prior to January 1st of 2023, or from January 1st, 2023 going forward, that possibly calls the edit plan, the old one, into a requirement for payment. And then I want to also include in that motion the amendment of the agreement to reflect the new distributions according to the wishes of the council.
Did you?
I made that
I'll
motion.
second that
It's got a
motion.
lot of words to it.
Yeah.
I got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So Andrew, I have a list, I've got a spreadsheet actually, of the percentages, and Chris, did you send him, was that in the packet? Okay. What we'll have to do is, there is an actual there is an edit plan, and then there's also a, like a plan of action or something, what they're gonna do that includes some of the bridges and things.
Capital
So,
improvement.
Capital improvement plan, that's probably what it's called. And we'll need to modify that so we get to these new numbers. And then we'll have to create a restricted fund for the use, so that this money is a home rule fund that we control exclusively for the maintenance of county buildings. We don't want it to be used for anything other than that.
Okay.
So that's what we're gonna be required to do to put this together.
Okay.
The next item we have is appointment of Human Resource Director to replace Administrator. You want to do that, or you? I'm going to change the name of that, though. I think you. What we are doing here is we are not replacing the county administrator. We can save ourselves a substantial amount of money, and we're attempting to share some of these duties with other members. Chris called out the position as Human Resource Director. I would like to change that to Human Resource Administrator.
Sounds good.
Kelly generally does all our employee-associated work, and we have to go back through our documents, our handbook, because it calls out county administrator, numerous locations. We no longer, if it works out, we'll fund that or have that position, so we have to rename it, and the suggested is Human Resource Administrator will be put in place. And that's the reason for this. We have provided a stipend for her to take on that work. We'll probably have some other things that occur, but it will be nowhere near the amount that we paid for the administrator plus benefits. We'll save substantial money. And hopefully we'll get good and do a professional job.
So Kelly, this will be holding the title.
Yep. she'll
Human
be the
Resource Administrator.
Administrator, yeah. And then she'll carry out the duties on the handbook
Mhm.
committee, so that
Yep.
she's actively involved in that, because
Right.
that's an area she works in daily.
Mhm.
So it only makes sense to get her involved in that. So I'll make a motion to approve her as the administrator.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of elected officials to personnel handbook. That's the next step we have to do. What do we need? One county
Elected official.
to participate with us besides the other elected officials,
Yeah, the
correct?
sheriff, the sheriff and
The
myself.
sheriff's on it already, right? Yeah.
How many are on that?
9. We've got the president of the commissioners, which is Randy, two council members, which is David and Kelly. Then you have the elected official that's appointed by both the commissioners and the county council, sheriff, auditor, highway superintendent, and then your human resources administrator.
So do we have to have, don't we have another one from the courthouse? Or is that what Kelly's doing? I was thinking we had another,
There's an elected official,
It's a courthouse elected official.
yeah.
courthouse
that's what I was
elected
thinking.
official, yeah.
I'm thinking we need.
One more.
Yep. And then the joint, I don't know how, is that an additional one between the two groups?
The courthouse is the joint.
The courthouse is the joint
And
one?
then
You guys appoint the elected official.
Yes, there's an elected official one.
it's a
Courthouse elected official.
Elected official appointed by the elected officials.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to make,
Can I do this?
yeah, and then we'll throw the ball to them to see if they
Yeah.
approve it. Works for me.
I'd like to see Amanda Lasher on this board.
I'm fine with that too. So that's all those in favor of Amanda Lasher serving pending approval from the council on the joint
Right.
improvement? Aye. Okay. The next item that I'm on here is our ARP proposed funding. This is from the committee and the recommendations. And what, this round, this all is from round 2, which was governmental and public water and things like that. Kevin had came to our meeting, and right now he has people that volunteer to drive veterans to their appointments in Louisville, Indianapolis, different areas. He has the vehicle, which he supplies, but these people take, and a lot of times it's an entire day's commitment. And if they do it right now, he doesn't compensate them in any fashion whatsoever but a thank you. The people, I'm assured, are not looking for money. They're doing it as a community effort. He would like to give them a stipend of $50. They probably will stop for lunch someplace or something. But he wants to do that to show appreciation of these people taking their time and a day, in most cases, to provide this service to our local vets. The ARP committee, they decided this is a worthwhile venture to function, to fund. And so they suggested we approve $5,000 for that. He also came to the group and asked for money to host public events, public awareness, get the word out. And Kevin's got a limited budget, and he asked for $5,000 to participate, host activities, veteran-related within the community. And the committee chose to recommend $5,000 for that. The last item on the list for the veterans, he asked for funding for hats and shirts for the group. And the ARP committee suggested we fund that for $1,000. So it'd be $11,000 is what we're asking the commissioners to approve for the veterans.
I make a motion we approve it.
I'll second it.
And I would like to say that a lot of the veterans, with me being a veteran myself, and I make several trips to New Albany, Louisville, and it takes time, and it takes gas, and you could be up there all day. If you go for testing, I'm sure all of you have been at doctor's offices and hospitals, and they're never on time. But a person that takes their time to volunteer to take these veterans that served our country for our freedom, stop and think about it. $50 is nothing. That's all I have
agree.
to say.
I agree. All those in favor?
Aye.
The next item we have is the Troy Fire Department. They have been there multiple times, and we went through the discussion. They're looking for air packs and masks for their firefighters. One of the challenges we have within our community is we don't have a lot of fires. That's a good thing. But equipment becomes dated. You'll have fire trucks with little or no hours on them. But as soon as they become a certain age, then the insurance companies come in and say, oh, you're not up to speed with that, and they have to replace it. Same with these air packs for Troy. We had the discussions with them. They had another brand they were suggesting to use, and what the committee asked them to do is to come back with something that matched what Tell City had. We're finding fewer and fewer firemen for both groups, so they're on both Troy and Tell City. And we felt that if the equipment was interchangeable, then your mask, if you had it in your vehicle and you were a Troy firefighter, you could hook on to a Tell City air pack and fight the fire. Likewise with Tell City, they could have their mask, drive to Troy, grab one of these air packs, and go to work. So they came back with their proposal, and it was, we actually saved a little money because we didn't have to buy as many masks. So they came back with $74,300. We've reached out to Region 15. There's a good opportunity potentially for 55% grant. We haven't got it yet. Just this morning I had another FEMA grant from another source that looks for things that potentially could fund part of it also. So what we did as our committee, we're recommending up to $74,300. That would mean that Troy has no success, and we would just fund it through ARP funds. But they're under the understanding, and Bernard Lenny has already started to work with Region 15 in order to get the grant application started. So hopefully we'll preserve some of our ARP funds. If not, we're going to fund this because we sure don't want to lose a firefighter. So, with that said, I'll make the motion we approve that pending successful grant recipients. If not, we'll pay for it. Second it. All those in favor?
Do you know how long it might be before they find out about the grants?
I'm thinking shortly, within a couple months here. The one I got this morning is a FEMA grant, and it's on another thing. It's outside of this, but it's fire related, so we may have another opportunity with them that it's some things for the ambulance service is what I actually was working with them on, but there's some fire related grant money there too, so it's worthwhile looking at. The last thing I had on my agenda here was an update on the animal shelter, phones, and the lighting here. Rebecca, she's been heading up several things on the animal shelter, so if you want to cover that one, kind of where we are.
I've had one company come look at the guttering and the downspouts on the animal shelter. It's bad. I mean, it's all going to have to be replaced. You can stick your head when you go up on the ladder. You can stick your head all the way through and look all inside the building. That's how bad it is. That's going to have to be replaced. We're checking to see about getting a wall built with a steel door, which is a very good idea, and have a little window in it, which is going to be buzzed where people can buzz in and out right as you walk in the lobby there. And the reason for that is security, because there's a lot of people that if you take their animal, it's like taking their children. And if they come down there mad, and you've only got one person in the building or two people in the building, they could just walk through there and go back there and do what they wanted to do. Well, with this door, it's going to be security. I don't want to see Molly or whoever is going to be the animal shelter director I don't want to see them be jeopardized by someone that is irate that goes in there. Back in the back where the runs, where the dogs are kept, I don't know who designed this building, but I would like to have a talk with them. It is drywall on this side. Over here, probably 4 foot are all the runs where the dogs are that have to be washed out every day. That water splashes back. The drywall has rotted probably 3 foot down. There's a block wall behind it. It's all rotted. It's all going to have to be redone and put some kind of a waterproof sealer or some type of material in there. And I'm having some people look at that. Now, it's my understanding there is a fund that is actually set up, and it is restricted to animal shelter building only. So this will not be, you know, a problem here, but we have to get this building up to par before we can even think about opening this shelter. I do not want to send an animal shelter director in here with a building that is just not fit to go in. So that's where I'm at with this. As a matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm going to meet someone to show them some things down there, the things that I've just spoke to you about, so I can get some more quotes on this.
The heat, I contacted Frederick's Sheet Metal, and the boiler system up there should be repairable. The company that manufactured the boiler is out of Michigan City, Indiana. We contacted them, they made the recommendation. He has the board purchased for it and also a maintenance kit to clean it out. He said he looks to put that in the first part of this week. If everything goes as planned, then the boiler should fire up and we should have heat in the building. We're going to put air on the water line system prior to putting water into the building. See if we can discover any leaks and repair them before we turn it into a shower. And if that's the case, and we could fix those, we'll turn the water on, and then it'll start the process of cleaning, repainting, deodorizing, getting it up and going. So we're moving on that. The phone system has been completed within the county buildings. We're waiting on AT&T to allow us to port the numbers over, and it has taken a while, substantially longer than we expected, but that's supposed to happen once again in February, early part here, so we'll see if we can get our numbers switched over. The LED lighting, the contractor has redone 2 rooms in the jail. We're changing the color to the white color over there, and Alan's acceptable with that color. And by the end of this week, the first of next, they'll get started, and it shouldn't take them but about a week to get it done, and we should see some savings in our budget on utilities. And that's all we got on our list.
I have a quick question. Can you explain
Would you step up here, please? So,
the changes that you had just made to the edit plan? Can you explain the impact that that will have on our contract? And it sounded like...
What we're gonna have to do is make sure that everything works with the new edit plan. In other words, if we went back and used how the old contract was written, you only had to get 4. You had 4 entities that received funding as percentages. They were the highway, the jail operating, the security here, and your organization. Now what we have to do is split the pie once again and add in for the PSAP, which is the 911 service, and then also the funding for building maintenance out of that. So that has to be recalculated and rewritten accordingly.
So do you...
When we get that done, what we'll do is we'll sit down with your organization and go through that whole process. And I don't anticipate it taking an extended period of time. And
It
it'll reflect
sounded
back on
like...
the new edit plan as it's written.
So
That's what we-
did you rescind the contract that we have with you, I guess, would be my
I
question.
don't
when you
know,
made that
was it
motion.
ever signed?
I never got a copy.
I never got a copy either.
I mean,
never signed
it was approved at the meeting, but
It
I
was-
never got it.
Yes, and that's the thing, and we can't find a record of it either. So see, that's why we have it on video,
No one can find
but
it.
nobody signed it or did anything. No one had the contract until that day when you came in here. That's the
No,
first
it,
That's the
Chris
first I
had
saw
it.
it. I can't
Chris
speak
had
to
I was
that.
the
not the
contract.
auditor at that time.
Yeah, so I never saw it till that day. So what happened to it, and that's why I
You
wanted
could
to.
have asked me for a copy.
I didn't realize you were coming to, with, I mean, that. when we
I guess,
started-
and I didn't realize that had disappeared, the signed
It's
contract.
still, I think it's still in there, in the,
Unsigned,
I can go check, I don't know. There's
I
a
haven't-
folder with all of it in there.
yeah, I haven't found it. What we have to do is get this contract, so in conjunction, so there's not any ambiguities between the contract and our edit.
I completely understand that, and I think we all need to be on the same page, but my question is, do we not have a contract with the county? And if we don't have a contract with the county, what is your plan? Because we are going into February and we are continuing to do work for you, which you will get invoiced for. But if we don't have a contract, I'm not sure how to continue to proceed.
That's why time is of the essence. And I don't anticipate this edit plan taking a lot of time, and I think we're meeting with you at the end of this week.
Yes.
Let's put it on our agenda.
That sounds good, but my only question is, are you anticipating a change in the 20%? Like whatever you just did with the .25, the .1, and the .15,
Okay.
how does that impact the 20%?
Let me share my thoughts with that. What I could find, I've read most every contract the county signs, and I've yet to find one that takes a percentage and guarantees it to a private entity, a certain amount. Because what that does, as wages go up, it provides an automatic increase. Now, we have county, for instance, the highway department, it's an inter-county organization.
Right, but
We
I
get
think
it,
that's a fee
which-
for service, so
Which
we
is in
provide.
control of those dollars through the commissioners. When we have a private entity, we're doing that, then we're guaranteeing an increase every year. And we don't know whether it'll be $1 or 10,000 or 100,000, we don't have any idea. It's all dependent upon the edit receipts. So that leaves us wide open, and I'm uncomfortable with that. That's my personal opinion, but I am uncomfortable with that. So I want to get some refinement on how we function and what we do, and I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I just want to get to that point.
I would love to get to that point as well. The 20%, the county has not, I guess, signed or executed a contract, but Troy and the city of South City have dedicated their 20%, and if the county changes that, it kind of breaks the foundation of each entity
Well-
equally contributing their fair share. And I have spent a lot of time over the past few months going back through our filing cabinet, reading newspaper articles, reading old documents, and it really was, everybody was trying to do their own thing. And when there was an agreement to all equally dedicate the 20%, we were no longer competing against each other, and everyone was paying their fair share towards economic development. And if Tell City got a project, it overall benefited the county, Troy, all of us together.
I'm not, we're all in this together. I mean, there's not one that, benefits when the other one doesn't, so.
I agree.
There's not, we just need to get down to we'll get to that.
All right, well, I've been asking to meet with you now for
We're
over
gonna
2
meet.
months.
We're gonna
I
meet.
know. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. That said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
A second?
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you for attending.
Melissa's got some stuff she needs to sign.
I'm sure she does.
I want to meet this guy.
He's not your